Hello, and thank you for watching this short video. It has an interesting feel to it because it's based on an email I received from one of the friends of our community, the Teo community of Interfaith Franciscans. And it's from the heart, and I would like to share it without breaking confidence. The questions put to us were, how would I be able to live the monastic life in my own home? I'm actually curious how that could be possible. I live with my mom and she's not very religious. I go to church by myself on Sundays because nobody in my family is a Catholic. Could I still do my normal things like work because I need a job to help support my mom? I enjoy playing video games on my computer, as well as using it for spiritual research. I'm involved in the ministry in my church as a lector and everything that goes with that. I'm curious about this sort of thing. Also lately, I've been reading upon the goddess worship that the Knights Templar worshipped the goddess, I think Mary Magdalena, and I'm more fond of the Virgin Mary myself and have even been calling her goddess mother in prayer. I know that it's a heresy in the church, but I find that my heart enjoys the sensation of her being a goddess to me. I'm just curious to know a little more. But then what's interesting, it goes on. I've been listening to metal since the 90s, ever since I discovered Metallica. They are my number one band, but I also listen to bands like Megadeth, Slayer. Did you know that the singer bass for Slayer is a Catholic? No, I didn't. I didn't know that, and I'm like, wow, so the guy up there, should God Hates Us All, is a Catholic. Interesting. I've even had a Slayer shirt that sports an inverted pentagram and upside down crosses. I bought it the day after the guitarist died to support the band. I also listen to Iced Earth, Iron Maiden, Dragon Force, Deathkiok and tons of others. But I do listen to New Age Celtic spiritual type stuff as well as the classical when I want to feel more calm and to take a break from the loud pounding music I normally listen to. This is a challenging email that's so full of honesty, integrity and love. But let's look at the questions. How could I live the monastic life from my home? Very simply, if you're a spiritual person living a spiritual life, then you'll make time each day to read something spiritual, to make time for periods of silence, maybe to meditate, to be still, go into nature. You can still live the monastic life from your home in the world, and you can even do that by working in a factory, a shop, a hospital or a classroom. What happens is you bring the values of your spirituality to those whom you work with. But you can choose, if you're my age, to live the contemplative life. But there's no pressure on any individual to conform like I had to do when I was a young Catholic nursing monk, where you didn't have 2 minutes to yourself from getting up at 5 to retiring at 9:30. 7 days a week. But after 8 years I realized it wasn't for me because it was affecting my health. But today I live a simpler life. But coming back to the email, could I still do my normal things like work? Yes, absolutely. I enjoy playing video games. Well, you're given the choice to take responsibility for your own journey. And if you choose to want to watch video games and play with the iBox, whatever it's called, then you can do that. But you have to take responsibility for your own journey. you're empowered by the community to take responsibility and draw up your own rule of life as to how you connect with the divine and where you connect with the divine. I'm involved in ministry in my church. That's wonderful. But we don't ask any of our candidates to be practicing anything. Yes, it's wonderful if they're a committed Buddhist, a Hindu, a Sikh, a Jew, Muslim or Christian. But we don't enforce that as long as you have a spiritual life and you connect with a loving Supreme God. It goes on to say, I'm curious about this sort of thing because they've been reading up on the goddess. Well, as an interfaith Franciscan, one of our patrons is Miriam Magdalena, the Divine Feminine. We also work with Gaia, Magdalena, as I've said, Kuan Yin and Mother Mary. We work with all the spiritual teachers because each one has so much to share with our heart. Like Rumi, Osho, Mia Baba, Sri Chimoy, Francis, Jesus, even Brother Gandhi, the Lord Buddha, Vishnu, Ganesh, Krishna. But this is a reply that we had from two of our presenters who do our Dove for Peace on a Tuesday evening. It's a live stream channel that goes live for Global Peace. And they say this: we believe that you as the Teo community are responding to a genuine need in a world for a wider for a community of spiritual individuals who embrace any or no particular religious belief. The Franciscan school is perfect to serve as the basis for such a community. We pray with you that your dreams will come true. That's for the eco-sustainable community in every country of the world, where men and women of different faiths can come together and embrace the monastic life. And they say we'll pray for both the monastic group living together, as well as for the many who live in a monastery without walls, their own home. And we have members who've chosen to embrace the monastic life at their own pace, and in keeping with their own demands on their time or illness. We have several members like myself who battle with severe depression. So we take each day as it comes. We're not stereotypical a lay monastic community where you're up at a certain time, in bed at a certain time. We don't have any not to-do lists because you're empowered by the spirit of love to take responsibility for your journey. So what next if you're interested? Say you're a heavy metal fan, like our friend here. Apply to join us as a postulant. That's a 6 months probationary period where you undergo some basic teachings that will support you in making a decision whether you wish to proceed at the end of that time to become an oblate for 2 years. You complete the resonance agreement, which is very important, to show that you're not anti-religious, that you're not anti-God, you're not anti-Christian, that you're not racist or violent. It's a beautiful agreement that you make with your heart to God. The paper tree is important because we need some documentary evidence so that we can support you. And then you complete your application form, you send it to us. And if all is okay, then we begin your 6 months training where we look at angelology, the divine feminine goddess energy, Magdalena, the divine masculine, the cosmic Christ. We also look at the esoteric teachings of the Therapeutae Essenes of Mount Sinai. They go back 8,000 years. And out of interest, Jesus and Magdalena were Nazarene Essenes. We also look at embracing the Supreme, the Creator, Yahweh, Jehovah, the Source, through nature. And then we conclude with the 7 keys of Celtic Franciscan spirituality over a 7-day guided retreat. That's basically what being a postulant entails. And then, if accepted, and you're okay with that, then you enter the novitiate period of 2 years training. And the spiritual guidelines that we use here is Teresa of Avila, The Interior Castle. It's an amazing document. It's a book written by this doctor of the church who reformed the Carmelites. It's not pro-Catholic, it's pro-spiritual. And it allows you to embrace your interior castle, your soul, and fall in love with your beloved. And then upon completion of that, then you're invited to apply to take promises, 7 promises, and give your life to God the Creator as a lay monastic for 3 years, after which you can take those promises for life. But it's all very informal, it's not academic, because as a Franciscan and a Celtic Franciscan who embraces all faiths, that is the message from Francis of Assisi given to my heart in 2008, to reach out to the whole family of God, not just to Catholic Christians, because each child created living in the world is made in the image and likeness of God, and they are our brothers and sisters if they're a child of God. And being an interfaith Franciscan, as an online community for the moment, we live the simple life. We're not tied down with ritual and rules and regulations that I was going back to the 14th century. You have the freedom to be who you are, whether you're gay or straight, disabled or able-bodied, whether you're 18 or whether you're 90. There are no restrictions as long as your heart is aligned to the divine, and that you have a desire to explore your spiritual path and are willing to embrace others of like mind. And we do that each day by coming together for morning and evening prayer, which has an interfaith feel to it. And we also have our Doves for Peace live webinar at 8 p.m. And at midnight we have a healing soiree for those who are burdened, anxious, afraid, fearful, despondent, where we just come into the presence of the cosmic Christ and allow him to touch us. If you really want more information, go on the website. Just type in or Google Interfaith Franciscans or Teo Community of St. Francis. But before you start scrolling down the various links, go into your heart and quietly in silence sit and use the gift of free will given to you by God and say, look, I'm here. I'm a rock chick, I'm a heavy metal fan, I'm a lap dancer. It doesn't matter what you are, but ask for guidance, that you be shown. And if it all resonates with your heart, then go for it. But if you go into your head, you will procrastinate, cogitate, deliberate, and you'll end up going nowhere, like the ballerina, one leg on the bar, the other on the ground, and she's afraid to sneeze. Come with your heart. Nobody is denied access to embracing the monastic life and service to God, because those of us who've given our lives as postulants, oblates or monastics, we give our life to the Supreme for peace, for justice, and we embrace the marginalized, whoever they are, wherever they are. And you don't have to conform. If you enjoy heavy metal, you go ahead and enjoy it. It's not my cup of tea, whereas I prefer the more classical, softer music. But I think that comes with the H. So let us just ask Almighty God to bless you. Father, Mother, God Supreme, in the presence of all the great spiritual teachers who have walked this sacred earth, may they guide you to find your purpose and the meaning of your life and why you are here, and that the love of your God, Goddess, will empower you to take responsibility for your spiritual pathway to spiritual wellness and wholeness. Namaste. Shalom. Inshallah pax et bonum. Om Shanti. Solo di Caritas. Assalamu alaikum. And may the peace of your God go with you. I hope our video has helped you. If not, then email me